Jacob Bernstein is an American philosopher who teaches at the New School for Social Research and has written extensively about a broad array of issues and philosophical traditions, including classical American pragmatism, neo-pragmatism, critical theory, deconstruction, social philosophy, political philosophy, and hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is the theory and methodology of text interpretation, especially the interpretation of biblical texts, wisdom literature, and philosophical texts. Hermeneutics was initially applied to the interpretation of exegesis of scripture. It emerged as a theory of human understanding. Modern hermeneutics includes both verbal and nonverbal communication, as well as semiotics, presuppositions, and pre-understandings, ideas. Praxis is a process by which a theory, lesson, or skill is enacted, embodied, or realized. Praxis may also refer to the act of engaging, applying, exercising, realizing, or practicing ideas. Pragmatism is a philosophical tradition that began in the United States around 1870. Pragmatism rejects the idea that the function of thought is to describe, represent, or mirror reality. Instead, pragmatists consider thought an instrument or tool for prediction, problem solving, and action. Bernstein's higher pragmatism focuses our attention instead on how human beings create a sense of community, on that which makes possible human speech, and thus underlies the very essence of our humanity, the need to share, to communicate, to reach out to other human beings, and to touch them deeply. The term community, however, suggests misleading homogeneity and solidarity. The essence of communication is to begin with difference, with concordance or agreement, and that is also what brings public space into existence. Focusing on praxis or moral action, it is here that the topic relates to planning. Planning is an inherently moral practice, a praxis, in the sense that it affects the way we live, relations among people and their institutions. The question is that, if planning is a moral praxis, how shall we ensure a moral defensible practice in the absence of the absolutes? Some problems are so deeply rooted that it would be foolish or pointless to think that they can be dealt with successfully without major political changes, or even changes in the public attitudes and opinion. In defining what a problem is, planners typically use comprehensive criteria: historical, spatial, economic, cultural, and political aspects. The public good is a notion of process. It emerges in the course of planning itself, and its concrete meaning is constantly evolving. There is a basic assumption that a polis called the public domain actually exists, but this is by no means a certainty. It presupposes a territorially organized society, a sense of citizenship, and legitimate voice. It presupposes democratic freedom and rights. Not all societies are so organized. The current Philippine society revolves around a narrow-minded government which led to the decay of cities and the public realm. It is therefore not surprising that a vulgar pragmatism has moved to center stage. What works works, and what works is money, technology, root power, the magic of the media to create believable worlds. But that road leads to nihilism and ultimately self-destruction. For a sense of public to exist, there has to be a measure of sharing, cultural predispositions, a common past, cherished institutions, and the legitimate authority. It is very evident that the capitalists or rich developers are the ones who are capable of spearheading the development of public areas in our country, namely Mega World, Ayala Land, and Century Properties. But where these conditions exist, there too exists a public domain and the possibility of reaching a shared understanding of what, in particular instances, may be called the common good.